and welcome to Let's Talk Aging. My name is Gwenyth Johnson, and I'm the CEO of Second Wind Dreams. We are an organization that is dedicated to changing the perception of aging. Through this series, we want to highlight those who are also changing that perception. And today we are lucky enough to have a conversation with Jill Disney and Rebekah Davis of the Georgia chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. Jill is the Senior Director of Programs and Services, and Rebekah is the Program Director Lead. Thank you both so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. We're very happy to be here with you.
Well, it's an honor. The Alzheimer's Association does such amazing work, and to be able to highlight you all to all of our partners and those we serve is just a pleasure. So let's dive right in. And if you all could tell me a little bit about your organization, but starting with the mission of your organization.
That is a great place to start because, really that's the heart of any nonprofit organization is the mission. And the Alzheimer's Association is the leading voluntary health organization in Alzheimer's care, support, and research. And our vision is really a world without Alzheimer's and all other dementias. Our mission statement really says it well. The Alzheimer's Association leads the way to end Alzheimer's and all other dementia by accelerating global research, driving risk reduction and early detection, and maximizing quality care and support. And as you can tell, our mission's a big one. It's really all about changing the impact of this disease on people. And I'll just add that while we're a global organization, we really pride ourselves in what we're able to do to impact the lives of those in our local community.
Your chapter speaks volumes to that. I cannot tell you the number of times that people have called me and they're like, where do I turn? What do I do? Georgia Alzheimer's Association, that's the place to go. Well, I'm not the one to tell about your programs. So can you all tell us about the resources that you offer? They are many.
Sure, yes. The Georgia chapter is part of the national organization of the Alzheimer's Association. And both in Georgia and throughout the country, we provide information and resources to communities. And we are so proud to be here in Georgia and supporting our local constituents. And we are able to offer support services for people who are on the journey with dementia and who are seeking support and need information and education. And we're thrilled that you send people our way and know that we are here. Our programs include education. We also have caregiver support groups and early stage engagement programs. So we do offer a good many programs throughout the state, but what I would really like to highlight is a resource that can help anyone throughout the Georgia chapter, and that's our 24/7 helpline. The helpline is really a foundational program for the association and is oftentimes, we tell people, the best way to connect with us. And it's also a great way to speak with someone who is knowledgeable about dementia, about brain health, but you can also find out about our programs that I mentioned earlier, education, support group, early stage engagement. You can find out more about those programs through our 24/7 helpline, as well as local resources.
That is fantastic. What types of resources do you offer to those who've just been diagnosed?
We at the association really advocate for early diagnosis, and part of that reason is so that people can take advantage of resources and can plan early. And so you heard me mention earlier about our early stage engagement programs. We offer those programs, and there's support groups, there's engagement with people who are also in the early stage, as well as care partners, because we know that's a very unique situation when someone is in the early stages of the disease and they are making plans, and both for the person living with dementia as well as their care partner. So we offer those engagement programs, those opportunities to connect with others, but we also offer care consultations where we can really dive into care planning, which again, we know is so important in the early stage as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That's just an amazing array of services. How can people get involved with your organization?
We really rely on public support of our mission in a big way. First, I want to highlight, really what the impact of volunteers on the work that we do, because that is a great way to get involved in our organization. And we have volunteers engaged in delivering our programs by facilitating some support groups that Rebekah mentioned, leading education classes and convening those early stage social engagement events. Volunteers work to plan and execute our fundraising events. In the state of Georgia, we have 20 Walk to End Alzheimer's events that are really community events to get folks out, to share in the mission, to share their stories and show support for one another, as well as raise those valued funds that help us fund the mission. We also have volunteers involved in fundraising events such as the Longest Day and our gala events, which are Dancing Stars events in Georgia, very fun. Volunteers are involved in advocacy and changing public policy at a state and a national level. And they serve as spokespeople, really, to raise awareness about dementia and to share the importance of getting involved in research. And by recruiting more volunteers, having folks come and join their ranks. We're very fortunate to really have a talented base of volunteers to serve our local communities, to lead our board of directors, and to provide guidance at a national level. At our heart, we are a voluntary health organization. So it's such an important thing that folks get involved with. But if somebody isn't sure about how they'd like to get involved, we welcome them to reach out to us, to the local Georgia chapter, and ask us about, some opportunities that we have. And we try to match passion to those opportunities to get people involved.
That is so important. And I know here that during the pandemic, we have seen an amazing rise in volunteerism and virtual volunteerism in particular. People have just been interested in getting involved. And I'm sure that's the case with you as well.
Things have definitely shifted in how we deliver programs, but what hasn't changed is our volunteers' commitment to making sure that services are delivered.
Fantastic. And I know we'll be sharing your website so that people can reach out, but are there any contact information or any ways to reach you all outside of that website, or is that the best way to go?
The website is a real wealth of information. I will say the main website is alz.org. To find out about local Georgia chapter information, you can change that just a little bit to alz.org/Georgia, spelling the word out, not abbreviating, and you can find out about local events and things here in Georgia. The helpline that we mentioned, is a great resource for those that have received a diagnosis and are looking for that information, but it's really a connection to the local chapter as well. So instead of remembering telephone numbers for all of our Georgia offices or individual staff, we really promote and put that helpline number on everything because it's a nice way to get in touch with us. And, I'll say it's published on our materials, but I'll go ahead and give the number as well so that folks can jot it down. It's 800-272-3900.
Fantastic. Thank you. Do you all have any events coming up that you'd like to talk about or that people can get involved in?
We do, and I'm so glad you asked. We have some great things going on here in Georgia and in communities throughout the state. We offer, as Jill mentioned earlier, our education programs, and our other program delivery is virtual at this time. So we have an upcoming schedule of virtual education programs that are open to anyone who would like to attend. A couple of those I'll mention here to highlight. We actually have one coming up in partnership tomorrow with the River Valley Area Agency on Aging. We are partnering with their Dementia Friends Champion to offer to co-host an education program. We also have coming up next month a healthy living program, and we're going to partner that with a yoga session. So that should be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about the importance of brain health and keeping your brain healthy as you age, and really how you can do that. And then we'll actually implement some of what we learned with the yoga session. Another great education program we have coming up next month is on a topic that is not so often spoken of, and it's about sexuality and dementia. And the title of that program is Let's Talk About It. And we have Dr. Regina Kep, who's going to partner with us to share a little bit about how communication changes as the disease progresses and how that affects relationships and intimacy. Then we also have a couple of programs next month where we will share information, updated information on the science of Alzheimer's research and where things are at with research, and really just the latest and what's going on, because that's always a topic that people want to know a lot about. So we have a couple of those programs coming up in May. And then one other program I'll mention is one that we actually hosted back in November. We had a great response. So we are bringing it back in May, and it's called Dementia Decoded. And we partner with a couple of different organizations. One is the Lewy Body Dementia Association. We also partner with the Parkinson's Foundation and a frontotemporal degeneration advocate. Sharon is someone that a lot of people know. And then also we have Dr. Whitney Wharton from Emory University. So we've got a couple of different organizations that we are bringing together, and the Alzheimer's Association is hosting to talk about some of the more common types of dementia. So we'll talk about Alzheimer's and FTD, Lewy body, vascular, Parkinson's, dementia, because we know that those are some of the more common types of dementia and people have questions around them. So again, that's a program that we offered in the fall, and we're bringing it back because we did have a lot of requests and interest in that program. So that's for education coming up over the next month. And then we continue to have our caregiver support groups and our early stage engagement programs. Those are held throughout the month and in communities throughout Georgia. Then I'll also mention, you heard Jill talk a little bit earlier about our walk. We have Walk to End Alzheimer's events coming up in communities throughout Georgia in the fall. And we are planning and moving forward for those events to be in person. So we're very excited about that. And then coming up in June, one last event I'll share with you is our event called The Longest Day, and it's held on the summer solstice. And the best way to describe The Longest Day is a DIY fundraiser. So you can make it yours, and you can find something that you love to do to honor those who are living with dementia and their families. And it's really a neat thing to see the different ideas people come up with and the things that they can do to raise funds. And then one last thing, Gwenyth, if I may mention, we do have a couple of community forums coming up. And when I say community forums, those are events that are listening sessions. They're really town hall type events. And we have a couple of those coming up in some different counties and communities throughout Georgia.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
that's a ton of work and wonderful opportunity.
Yes, we have a lot going on for sure.
You do. And thank you so much for offering all those things. It's so many ways for the public to meet and talk with you. And it's fantastic. I have one more question, and this is for both of you. How are you changing the perception of aging?
Well, I'll go to bat first on that one and share my thoughts there. So for me personally, as part of the Alzheimer's Association and having been here for several years now, it's wonderful to see how the association is just what you're saying, how we are changing the perception of aging, but specifically the perception of dementia and Alzheimer's. One thing that you'll often hear us say, and we share this in our education programs, it's that dementia is not a normal part of aging. Many people have that misperception, and that's something that we share. We also create awareness around the fact that Alzheimer's is not just an older person's disease.
Mhm.
So I think, one way that we are helping to change that perception of aging is to educate people about dementia, but then also to break down the stigma that's often associated with dementia. You heard me say earlier that we offer a really robust early stage engagement program, and it emphasizes that there is still life to be lived after a diagnosis.
Mhm.
So I really see that as a key way that we here at the association are really shaking up and changing that perception of aging. And again, specifically with Alzheimer's and dementia, we are debunking that myth that people who are living with Alzheimer's can't live full, vibrant lives and experience joy and experience so many things. And so I see that as our key role in changing the perception of aging.
I love the emphasis on living. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Jill, how are you changing the perception of aging?
I think Rebekah said it well, really thinking of ways to engage people in, a healthy lifestyle and living life day by day, no matter what.
Absolutely. Well, it has been my absolute pleasure to have you both with us today. Thank you for being on Let's Talk Aging, and thank you all for watching. We will be back once again, and I'd like to direct you to our website. We have a marvelous program, the Dreams program, which is a way to engage with our elders living in long-term care and changing the perception of aging by reminding ourselves and them that older adults are adults and they have dreams and wishes, and we can help those come true. So thank you all, and I look forward to talking with you next time.